Your power is reinforcement. Adding a sword to another sword increases its power by 1%. Due to a lack of swords, you kept reinforcing a pebble. My family has power. We don't use it much, and it only tends to attach itself to 1 or 3 of us at a time, but it's there. It's the power of reinforcement. I can see the confused expressions on your faces now. Simply put, if we combine one thing with another of that thing, say a sword with another sword, we get a stronger sword. Swords aren't common in a tiny farming village. I'd only seen them a handful of times adorning merchants that pass through on their way to larger towns. So, suffice it to say, swords aren't something we use our power on. Mostly we work with water. Combine this bucket of water with that one, and crops only need half their usual watering. It's an odd concept, I'll grant you that, but we make it function. I've always been the odd duck in my family. Everyone else blessed with the power has wanted to go adventuring at some point in their lives. So they pack up and off they go to seek their fortune. Then, when the adventuring bug has played itself out, they return, usually with a variety of new scars and some wild stories to tell. But not me. I want to be a farmer. It's all I've ever wanted. I enjoy growing plants, I like being able to feed people, and I really find fulfillment in the work itself. My family can't understand it, and they have no problems communicating their feelings. Mostly by asking me when I'm going to leave, or if I've decided on what adventure I'll try and seek out. To shut them up, I've taken to saying soon, or maybe I'll try a dragon killing adventure. That one always sends my mother into tears, so I don't use it very often. But lately, there's been whispers in the tavern. Rumors of unrest, rumors of war in the south, an increased presence of soldiers. It's disturbing the peace and quiet. The neighbors have started to murmur about evacuation or turning their scythes into weapons. The whispers have even entered my household, muttering about a draft. Our power isn't widely known, but when it comes down to it, there's likely to be someone who remembers. Remembers my now silver-haired grandfather from when he was young and reckless. Who comes to our home and drags him out of bed. Who ignores my grandmother's cries of sadness. Someone who remembers my aunt, when she could still reason and think, when her illness hadn't taken her mind from her. Who comes to take her regardless, who thinks they know what she can or can't do better than her family. And there's bound to be a person who remembers my mother. Who remembers what a wonderful warrior she had become, before the nightmares took over, before the world became terrifying for her, before everything went from wonderful to frightening. Not everyone who came back from their adventures came back unscathed. I'm the youngest reinforcer, I'm the only one they should take, but in war, no one cares about what is right, or what should be. They'll come for us all. This is why, since I heard the very first rumor, I've been collecting pebbles. Though if you came to see them, all you'd see is one pebble. One very pebbly pebble. The ultimate pebble, if you will. When the recruiters come, I'll be ready. And I will defend my family. You there? Can you take us to the owner of this farm? I pushed my hat back, squinting at the man who'd shouted. It was a bright day, and the sunlight glared off his armor like a bolt of lightning. Slipping a hand into my pocket, I smiled as amiably as I could manage. Sure can. In fact, you're speaking to him. What's all this about then? I said, drawing my words out slowly. The more he thought I was just a dumb farmer, the better for me. Taking a few steps closer to him, I ran my fingers over the small smooth object in my pocket. He frowned, walking a little away from his escort of 4 soldiers, and in my direction. Good. He was underestimating me already. I was told there were some magic users in these parts. In this very household. We've come to encourage them to join the army. We need every loyal citizen, especially since our emperor has decided to press for the annexation of Gornial. He paused, and I tried to keep my patience. Soon. I would strike soon. As he began again, I palmed the pebble and drew my hand casually out of my pocket. So, you be a good boy. Run along and fetch them sharpish, and we'll be on our way. He attempted a friendly smile, but there was a good deal too much steel in it. I smiled back. There were a good too many teeth in my smile to be seen as anything but a threat. No, I don't think I'll be doing that. In fact, I think you and your men should be riding away sharpish. Listen here, boy, I don't think you understand. Oh, no, I understand perfectly. His face turned purple at my interruption, but I continued. I understand that no one in my family is going to fight for a corrupt emperor, and that you won't be able to make them. And I understand that I'm going to stop you. With this, I held up the pebble, waiting for his face to change again. Consternation this time, with a bit of amusement. Hand dropping to his sword, he chuckled. You're going to stop me with a pebble. I think you've spent a little too much time in the sun. Whatever he was going to say next would never be spoken in this life. I had thrown the pebble with all the force my arm possessed. It passed cleanly through his helmet and skull, killing him instantly. As he crumpled to the ground, his horse followed, the pebble having gone into its heart. I felt bad, for the horse. With my grin that had too many teeth, I turned to the other men. They were looking at me like they'd just seen a ghost. You should go. If I can do that with a pebble, what else have I got up my sleeve? Or, I paused, watching them pale as I put a hand in my pocket. In my pockets? As they reined their horses around and dug their heels into the glossy flanks, I shouted after them. Tell the emperor there will be no draft in this house. If he sends more men, they will die. If he comes himself, he will die. I drew a deep breath, yelling so loud I scraped my throat. This is my house. And it is protected.